Lots of protests in Mineral Wells today against President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill. Our Jason Livia talked to the protesters and a local Republican to hear from people on both sides.
President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill passed the House last Thursday and is continuing its way through Congress. On Monday, the group Indivisible MOV held a protest on the I-77 overpass in Mineral Wells.
Today we're here because we're concerned about Trump's big, beautiful bill.
Indivisible MOV media specialist Lisa Moore says some of the main points of the protest were against the tax cuts and changes to Medicaid and SNAP.
We see in that provisions to cut Medicaid. The tax cuts only affect if you make less than $60,000, you're not going to really see a benefit to the bill. And we have a lot of people in our state who are under the poverty level, and they're going to be hurt by the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer.
A local Republican in Ohio, Flight Fryman, says the tax cuts look like they're disproportionate because they are based on percentages.
What you want to do is adding in the Medicaid work requirement just cleans everything up and down the system. Adding a Medicaid work requirement really doesn't force a whole bunch of people. If they're not working and they're receiving SNAP benefits, they already had a work requirement.
Moore says the cuts to Medicaid would adversely affect around 90,000 people in the state of West Virginia. According to a release from the Ohio Democratic Party, they say more than 400,000 people would lose health care. Fryman says the change to Medicaid adds a work requirement that already exists in the SNAP benefits program.
What ends up happening is people say, the tax cuts are all going to the wealthy. Well, that's just not true. The tax cuts are based off of a percentage. And so, yes, if someone is making $1 million, although none of these tax cuts are targeted towards somebody making that much money, then when you reduce their percentage, even by a small amount, it dwarfs someone who would be a middle-class family.
Currently, able-bodied SNAP benefit recipients are required to work 80 hours in a job or in community engagement. The bill would add a similar work requirement to Medicaid benefits. Indivisible MOV says they plan to continue the work they do to help protect vulnerable Americans. In Mineral Wells, I'm Jason Livia with WTAP News.